English tenses are often a big point of confusion and issue for non-native speakers, but they shouldn't be. Once you understand how and when to use an English tense, your fluency and your accuracy will greatly increase. One of the most commonly used tenses in English is past simple. So knowing how to use past simple correctly will greatly help your English. Stay tuned as I make past simple tense easy. Hi everyone, how are you? I'm Edward from English Made Easy, and today we're going to learn how to talk to your friends, families, and teachers about all the great things you've done in the past. Whether you went to the cinema last weekend, ate a great meal with your family last night, or a month ago did some shopping, past simple is the best way to tell people what you did or what happened. Past simple is used when referring to a specific event in the past which has been completed. We normally add the specific time in which we did the event. As with all tenses, there is some structure to remember, but as long as you're confident with your verb forms, then past simple is actually one of, if not the most, straightforward tense to use in English. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use past simple in its affirmative form, its negative form, and its interrogative form to ask some questions. Let's get to work. As with all English tenses, past simple comes in three forms: affirmative, negative, and interrogative. We'll start with affirmative, which is the most basic, and we'll make our way towards interrogative, where you'll learn how to ask questions. The basic structure of past simple tense is subject plus verb to, and that's it. As long as you can remember what the correct form of the verb is, the verb will never change even as the subjects change. Remembering the correct form of a verb, however, isn't always the easiest thing to do. We can classify these into two categories: irregular and regular verbs. Regular verbs simply need the addition of ed at the end to change them to their past form. Some common examples of these include play, watch, listen, want, and create. If you struggle with the pronunciation of words which end ed, then don't worry, I've got you covered. Check out the link above or the link in the description to learn exactly how to pronounce words which end ed. I've already made a video on this topic. To change these regular verbs into their past form, as I mentioned, we just have to make sure they end ed. So play becomes played, watch becomes watched, listen becomes listened, want becomes wanted, and create becomes created. Irregular verbs are unfortunately not so easy to remember, as each word has its own form. There are no rules which connect them all together. Let's look at some of the most common ones: eat, see, go, buy, and drink. Eat, because it's irregular, does not change to eated. Instead, we say ate. See becomes saw, go changes to went, buy becomes bought, and drink becomes drank. Now that we understand how to change verbs into their past form, we're going to start making some sentences. As you remember, subject plus verb to is the correct structure for the affirmative form of past simple tense. Last night, I worked until 9 p.m. On Tuesday, I went to a theme park with a few friends and rode a huge roller coaster. 2 months ago, I visited India with my family. We saw a lot of interesting things. As you can see, the affirmative form of past simple tense is pretty straightforward. The negative form is a little bit more complicated. However, you don't need to learn any of the past simple forms of verbs. So in that way, it's actually much easier. The structure of the negative form of past simple tense is subject plus didn't plus verb 1. You'll notice that I said didn't instead of did not. When writing, did not is okay, but when speaking, we always use the contracted form, didn't. Also, you'll notice that we use verb 1 and not verb 2. Why is that? Well, did is already the past form of do. so there's no need to have the auxiliary form in past tense and the main verb in past tense. Again, let's look at some examples to better illustrate how to use past simple tense in its negative form. I didn't go anywhere over the weekend as I didn't feel good. I'm sorry, I didn't see the person you were looking for. I didn't realize how good The Dark Knight was until I watched it. And finally, let's see if we can use past simple tense to form some questions. We'll start off by making closed or yes or no questions. The structure for asking a question in past simple tense is did plus subject plus verb 1. Again, we use verb 1 instead of verb 2 because did is already in past tense. Let's look at some examples of questions to see exactly how it looks in real life. Did you watch anything interesting on TV last night? Did you visit Christ the Redeemer when you were in Brazil? What did you eat for dinner? As you can see in that last sentence, I just added a what before did to change it from a closed or yes or no question into an open question where there are many possible answers. If answering a closed question, such as did you eat dinner, we have two options. Yes, I did, or no, I didn't. And that's all there is to it. As you can see, past simple tense is not so difficult and is not so scary, so you have no excuse for not using it in your daily English. Just remember, use past simple when talking about an action that is completed in the past at a specific time. I'd like you to practice now by posting 3 past simple sentences in the comments below. Choose one in its interrogative form, one in its negative form, and one in its affirmative form. Good luck. Thanks for watching this lesson of English Made Easy. If you feel like this video helped you, please give it a like, share it with your friends, or even consider subscribing to see more of our videos. If you have a question that you want answered, please post it in the comments section below. Or if you'd like to join our community, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even support us on Patreon. You can find the links to all of these below. Thanks for watching and keep learning.